Hello and welcome to another Clubs and Corks Golf podcast. Luke Taylor here. I'm all alone here. We're doing a little bit differently. Ben's a little bit under the weather. He left Bernice. He's got Bernice with him. I got no Ben Curtis and no Claret Jug. So I feel a little bit naked, though I have clothes on. Ben Curtis, partner in crime. There's the wave.
Hey everybody.
We love it.
I got the Claret Jug right in front of me just to let you know. So I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Okay.
No one else.
It's all about you, right? But so what's going on?
Yeah, here it is. See, here it is, everybody.
Nice. There you go. So what's going on with you?
Oh, man, just achy, a little bit of I had a slight fever last night. And,
really?
Just a little tired. So I don't
know
what it is.
You look tired.
Yeah, my eyes are puffy. I just put my contacts in for you. So
yeah.
A little puffy, but
that's cool. Well, at least we didn't have to do the COVID test where, we don't use an actual thermometer. We use other things. So thank God you didn't have to do that this morning.
Yeah.
So I was going to watch the Northern Trust yesterday, and they're playing today as we speak. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I just looked. They're delayed again until noon or something like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's when you get these storms like that, you got to just obviously the safety of the fans and players is number one. And with the thing yesterday, it wasn't worth it. But hopefully they can get it in today.
Yeah.
So, I remember a tournament. I won a tournament where we finished on Tuesday. So
what tournament was that?
The Booz Allen in 06.
Oh, really?
Huge storm. We got about 12 holes in on Sunday, and then the storm came through, flooded the bottom part. If we would have got 2 more holes in, we would have been okay, because it was down in the low port with the river running through it, and it flooded. And then so we had to wait till Monday. And then we played 5 holes on Monday, and then 1 hole on Sunday.
Did everybody come back on Tuesday?
Just to whoever's left playing. There was only 2 groups left. So
okay. Was there any fans there?
No. I think Monday they let fans in. But there wasn't that many because we only had a few holes left, but we were trying to finish. It was weird because like we were on 12 fairway, so we played 12 through 16 so I played 2 holes on Tuesday, 12 through 16 on Monday. So there was a few people there, but not many.
Nice.
I think the TV people left too. I think.
Oh, really?
Disparity was following our group. He was there Monday, but he wasn't there Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I forget who did the interview afterwards, but
it was probably one of the people in your group. Who was in your final group? It was probably one of them.
I played with Stricker. I know that, and I'm trying to think who else it was. I can't remember.
Did Stricker interview you after the tournament?
He did not. No.
He did not. Okay. So we got, let's see. So let's get some logistical stuff out here. So don't forget to subscribe. Let's subscribe today, right, on YouTube. We got to get it up, right? Balls in the air. We got to get it up. Let's see. Share. Yeah, and subscribe on the podcast. Give us a good thumbs up, 5-star. Yeah, like us. There you go. You love it. And join our Patreon site. We're going to have some, we got some little bonus question and answer from some of our supporters. We actually have a new supporter. Came in last night. I kind of trying to think where his name is. Robert Dufresne, new Patreon supporter.
Is it Bobby Dufresne's from?
I don't know.
Shawshank Redemption, right?
It could have been
Bobby.
Yeah, maybe it's Robert Dufresne, but hey, we'll go as Bobby. So thanks so much. You guys can too for got some good stuff, some good tips, whatever. www.patreon.com/clubs and courts. So we got a couple questions. Got about 4 different questions, and I'm sure this is going to lead to some other things. But this is a question from Jason Miller, who was recently named superintendent of Birch Run Golf Club in North Baltimore, Ohio. I don't know where the hell North Baltimore is in Ohio, but I know where it is in Maryland. You know where that is? Birch Run Golf Club in North Baltimore, Ohio. Is that Toledo area? That's got to be Toledo area.
Must be.
Yeah, because they got weird names.
There's New Baltimore, but I don't know if they have like a post office right near Hartville and stuff. But
Yeah, no, I don't think it is.
um, it's not it because I've
Yeah.
never heard of that course.
Yeah. Come on, man. Let's go. So
Right.
the question is, does Ben ever see himself on the Champions Tour? And if so, can I play Luke to see who will be his caddy?
Well, no and no. So um, I no plans as of now. Again, it's still 6 years away.
Yeah,
so
you still got some time.
there's a lot of time between now and then.
Yeah.
I don't see it now because I don't have the bug, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
got to have the
The
bug,
itch.
the itch, and it's very similar to the tour right now. It used to be where you go and you had fun, and you traveled, and you got to go to cool places and do some cool things. But now, I mean, these guys are it's like one step behind the PGA Tour. These
Yeah.
guys are really serious about it. The money's getting bigger, so it's the pressure gets more and more. But as of now, no. But you never know. And as far as a caddy, I don't know if Luke can make it. Especially with the stuff I put in the bag.
That's all right.
Extra bricks.
Yeah, what you don't understand, I'm
all
smart.
the gadgets that
Yeah,
I
but
have.
I'm smart enough to you pay me and then I'll pay someone else. So I'll be laughing. I'll be making money.
Why would I pay you and you pay somebody else?
Because you don't know. You'd think it'd be me. It'd be my stunt double.
And then you would lose money. So why would
Not necessarily. If you pay me $1,000 a week, I'll pay someone $400 a week.
Well, good luck finding anybody doing it for $400.
That's true. They'll never show up for the interview. Okay. This is a question my buddy asked me. So, buddy of mine, Theo Stradlopoulos, he does not listen to the podcast. He has beautiful hair, though, I might add. Maybe you'll listen to this one. He hasn't played golf in maybe 6 years, and he has some balls in his golf bag. Do golf balls ever go bad?
No, unless they're in water for a long period of time. But that would be the only thing I would say. But again, we've, where I grew up at Mill Creek, and the family, they had somebody come in and get balls out of the pond every year, and then they would wash them and resell them. Mm-hmm. So maybe they sold them some bad balls, but they were waterlogged, so they couldn't fly. They get up in there and they drop straight down, right?
Oh, really?
No, but I'm just saying, I don't think they go bad.
Yeah.
I don't think they go bad. I think,
technology, though.
I remember when I was a kid, we'd find balls that were 30, 40 years old,
Yeah.
And you'd be playing with them. And I've seen, in the museum, you go and you see the old balls. I remember family would collect them or find them, and we go out and hit them. Like they just, with the equipment, they didn't go as well, but they don't go bad.
No. Okay. So
unless
this is
cut or damaged or something like that.
So Steve Brudico, who's a Patreon supporter, asks, who is a better dresser, Ian Poulter, Payne Stewart, or Luke Fuchsia Taylor?
I would say, well, I'm a little biased. I was a Payne Stewart fan, so I'm going to have to go with Payne.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to beat the knickers. It's kind of classic.
Yeah, because no one wears them.
Different, right? Who wears them today? Nobody. But Poulter, when he first came out, and he's really tame now, right? But he used to have some crazy stuff. Like he used to have kind of like what Daly's doing with the loudmouth, but in a little more pattern, like not so much floral with all the different colored, but like he would have I remember he had the almost like the British flag on his pants. He had crazy hair too. He
had the frosted tips.
Well, at first it was like real blonde and pretty long and spiky, and then it got to the tips, and then now I think it's just more natural. But I don't know if he still wears visors much, or if there's a little bit of both. He used to wear all visors, but not that it was just different, right? But I think Payne was just really cool in how he did it, and everything was it was all synchronized.
So you're picking me fourth out of three people. That's cool. Here's a good one from Matt Considine, who was on our podcast last week with New Club New Club Golf Society out of Chicago and Atlanta. It's actually a timely one too. So it's kind of a two-part. So let me just finish it. Describe the nerves of the PGA Tour playoffs. Are they at all that of the majors or the Ryder Cup? Will they ever matter that much to the players? What I'm kind of getting at is that in all sports, the playoffs seem to matter the most. I just don't see a world where that will be the case in golf. Is that okay? Or should the PGA playoffs experiment be reimagined?
You
Matt
know, it's
Considine.
it's a great question because one, is it the pressure and magnitude of a major? No. And I don't think it really ever will be because there's so much emphasis on the majors and they have
Mhm.
been for how long, right? And the playoffs is, let's say, 15 years old, 12 years old. Whereas that has been around, the major's been around for since
100
the
years, over
yeah,
100 years. Yeah.
yeah, since the beginning of golf, really, and the modern day at least. And so that's always going to be number one, right? Um, Ryder Cup, President's Cup can I think it could get to that magnitude, but again, I think it would need to change a little bit. I
How
mean,
could they,
basically,
how could they do that? How can they change it
I
to
don't
make
know.
it more?
Like when I first started, you played all season, then the top 30 made it to the tour champ, right? And that was Um, so it's a whole year long thing. Right now, you could get hot in 2 weeks, and now you're into the finals, right, or into the tour champ. And there's nothing because that's how all the other sports, right, get. If you just make the top, 10 teams or whatever, like in football or basketball, top eight, and then you get hot, you could go to the finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get what they're trying to do, but I think golf is such. I mean, if you want to get the best players, it's who's played the best over a long period of time. Now, can you make some adjustments to it where at the beginning of the year the points are less than they are at the end of the year, where it's kind of a gradual. So who's playing best at the end of the year? I think that's what they're trying to do is kind of get who's playing the best at this time of the year, kind of like in all other sports, right? Like you could barely sneak in the playoffs, but if you're playing getting hot and then moving on, like you get hot and you get a good run going, kind of like what the Buccaneers did last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
They started off kind of slow, found their groove, got into the playoffs. They weren't a high seed. They had all playoff, away games, but they were just peaking at the right time, right? So why not do something like that with golf where it's, maybe the first third of the season you get 100 points for a win, the second it's 250, and then towards the end it's 500, right? So you're kind of building in. Now they obviously, I remember when they first came, they do so many studies and review, like they send out polls, they ask questions to, I don't know who they're asking, but I remember seeing the data and like how they used to, and they put a lot of thought behind it, right? And I think anytime you change something, it's got to be an experiment, right? You look at the NBA, for example, where they did that play-in game, right? Remember when they did that this
Mm-hmm.
fall or this summer? They was it as successful as they wanted to be? I don't know, but I mean, until you do it, you never know. So I guess my point is, yes, I think it should change a little bit. How they do it, I don't know. I mean, but I kind of like the old way where it's just like you play, but there was really no drama at the end of the year, right? You maybe have 60 guys fighting for the 30 spots, right? The guys that were finishing 80th, they didn't really put the effort in maybe at the end of the year because they knew they weren't going to get to the tour champ. But
Yeah,
obviously they kept their car.
but that's like pro sports. If you know you're not
Right.
going to make the playoffs, it's like you might as well tank and get a better draft pick.
Yeah, except we don't get a draft.
Yeah, but could they make it where, like, I just feel like they're doing this just to try to get more money into it and trying to get more of the bigger names to play more tournaments. That's just my opinion. Like throughout the year, because I mean, you go to some of these tournaments, like for instance, Houston, and a lot of the big names don't play it. At least back then, now they are because of the Jordan
Right.
Spieth might never play, or Rory McIlroy might never play the Shell Houston Open. I don't even know what it's called. I can't remember what it's called now, but back then. But now he's playing in it because maybe it's
Well,
sponsorships,
and they
maybe it's the
moved the
tour.
date. Well, they moved the date too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
dates everything with the tour.
Right.
You're right before the Masters, so you're going to get guys that want to play just to tune up. Um, so the date's most important. I think You know, it's weird. The season's too long, I think. If you're going to do something like that, you're like they say they're trying to condense the schedule and try to get everybody to play in all these events. So maybe the schedule's too big. I don't know. I'm just
It's all that,
saying,
man. It's all
right,
about the money, right?
right. Well, maybe you have where it's like a preseason, so to speak. You have 15 events that they matter for something, but maybe the top five guys that, the top 10 in that series then
Mm-hmm.
automatically qualify for the end of the year tournament, right? So maybe you do like 3 or 4 segments throughout the year. And they kind of used to do that they used to have like the West Coast swing, the Florida swing, and the
Right.
Texas swing. And it was based all for retirement money, but still it was, people played. So if you got really high, you got your pension really, expanded and really inflated. You could just have a 3-week span where you played really well and maybe finish second in that West Coast swing or something. Next thing you know, you got a big bonus going into your, retirement plan. So maybe it's something like that, but not with retirement. It's just a point system where, hey, if you do really well in the first 10 weeks, top 10, then you automatically qualify for the end of the year, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what you do the rest of the year. Now, will that deter people from playing certain events? Like all of a sudden now, well, I did really well there. I don't have to worry about the Florida swing.
Right.
So I'm not going to play for 6 weeks. So you have that too, right? So it's a very complicated thing, obviously. And with so many tournaments, so many players, but it's a great question. I mean, it's just something that I think they're always looking at that stuff too. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're always looking at ways. So here's the main reason why they did it was because the ratings fell off in the fall because of football.
Right. But here's the
So
problem. But Ben, look at it this way.
now they're
They've got
still
it.
going into it.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Okay. So the tour championship is what, this upcoming weekend, right?
Mhm.
So it goes Northern Trust Tour Championship in Atlanta.
No, I think there's one more.
Oh yeah, BMW Championship. Then it's the
Then,
Tour Championship. Then
right.
literally 2 weeks later, they're playing the Fortinet Championship to start the season 2 weeks after the Tour Championship.
Yeah, there's
Like
no
it
off.
just like you don't. It doesn't seem like you have a break. It's 2 week break,
Well, your breaks did no late November through December, right? That's your break.
right? So then what is the September to November season? Is that the preseason then considering? But then you have a month and a half break. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, because when it first came out, I know what you're saying because when it first came out, I think they weren't even part of the FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fall events, right? They were just, but then they got smart and made them part of the FedEx Cup playoffs, right? Or not the playoffs, but FedEx points. So now all of a sudden the fields went up because they were getting better fields at the Safeway out, whatever. I forget what they're calling it now, and
The
Napa
Fortinet, the
Rise and
Fortinet, yeah, the Fortinet,
right.
whatever it is. Yep.
Right. So like you had all those, you had Vegas, you had a tournament in Scottsdale. All these tournaments became bigger, right? The purses went up, the fields got better just because because it was part of the FedEx. So guys would play a few and then maybe take a break somewhere else. But yeah, you're right. There is no off season, right? My biggest thing with this whole playoffs is that they did it because they wanted to get ratings up, but they wanted to get away from football. But when they first started doing it, it was all in September,
Mm-hmm.
right when football starts, right? Being a Cleveland Browns fan, that's when you're watching all the Browns games
Go
because
Browns.
before, by October, they weren't relevant anymore. So you got
Right.
less interest in the Browns, but at the beginning, you
Right.
were always watching the Browns, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now, obviously, the Browns are going to be better, hopefully. But, um,
Yeah, but why
so,
don't they just do that and make it more guys might play more events. You start
right.
the season after the new year, and then you push the tour championship back another week or two. Okay. So it's the beginning of football season. You're done by September 12th. You had two more tournaments from that you have in September, October, and then just be done for 3.5 months. Let guys rejuvenate, let guys heal. If they want to have some, some charity tournaments or the QBE shootout or whatever it is. That way you're forcing guys to maybe play.
Well, how about, making, I mean, this is just came to my head. How about doing the playoffs where the tournament is during the week so you don't worry about Saturday, Sunday. So even if you have the tour championship late September, you do it out West Coast and you finish it at prime time. So you finish it at 9 o'clock at night versus so people get home from work on Thursday, Friday, they can watch the final 2 rounds. And yet you're not really competing with football, right? You're not worried about
but who cares?
Saturday,
yeah, but
games.
You're only going to go, like before it seemed like it was going in the middle of the football season. If it hits the first week, I mean, so be it, whatever.
But the ratings drop though. That's the problem. The ratings go way down.
Yeah.
Compared to like majors and stuff like that.
Why don't you make
because they don't have anything.
But what if you do? Yeah, but what if you have, like, you finish it on, maybe it's a 3-day tournament, you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Or what about match play? What about doing a match play, doing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Matt Considine. Thanks, Matt Considine.
Yeah,
you just took up all our airtime.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and I'm sure there's very smart people behind the tour, right? And
is there really?
They're looking at all the scenarios, I'm sure, and it's a very tough thing to do, because if you're trying not to compete with football, which was my thing, that's kind of how they portrayed it to us, so they can get the ratings up. And my point to that would be, then don't even compete with football. End it sometime in mid-August. So then you're done. And then you could start the season in late September, because you're always going to go up against some kind of sport, right? You're always going to come baseball, whether it be football, whether it be basketball, hockey, whatever. You're going to come up against something, right?
Right.
I mean, but if you do it in August when it's relatively quiet, so to speak, there's no major playoffs, right? There's no baseball playoffs. They're getting ready to start, but they're not. And then no, football is getting ready to start their season. Basketball is done, right?
Right.
And you have the stage to yourself in a way.
Yeah.
So how do you get the wraparound season, and when do you start? When do you
Right.
That would be what I would suggest. So,
right.
And there's only 30 guys at Tour Champ, which isn't a lot. I mean, there's somewhat of a drama because you start 2 shots ahead. If you're leading your shot stop, you start the.
But aren't you like 10 shots ahead if you're like from first to last?
Yeah.
All right, let's take
a bit weird, but it makes sense. But it's a bit weird. It's like you could actually win. That's what I don't like about it. I don't know. Is if you were 30th heading in and you actually had the lowest score for the 4 days,
you ain't winning.
But you still ain't going to win the tournament, but you would have if it wasn't.
Right. So
you know what I mean? So you had your best week of the year and you don't get the winner's check, so to speak. And that's the part I don't really. You're still going to make a lot of money, right? Because you're going to move up the leaderboard, but it's still not the same.
Yeah, but all you're going to get, we're not even going to get a pat on your back saying "Good job, pal." You're not going to get that.
And you finished 10th in the FedEx.
And, who cares? All right. Robert Keenan Winery, located in the historic Spring Mountain district of Napa Valley. Celebrate the best round you've ever had, or get over your sorrows after the Snowman in number 18. Drown yourself in one of the 14,000 cases produced each year. Combining the dedication of experienced winemakers with a commitment to excellence, the Robert Keenan Winery has distinguished itself as a maker of exceptional wines in limited varietals and quantity. Wines for sipping, wines for enjoying, wines for enhancing any occasion. In the last 8 vintages, 42 wines have been rated between 90 and 97 points by Robert Parker Jr. As a special thank you, use code Clubs and Corks, all uppercase, and receive 20% off your next order with Keenan Winery. We'll have on the bottom the Keenan website. They are golfers just like me and you, not like Ben. So the thing that's in what?
Real quick. So you had your party. Are you still doing your advertisement here?
I just did it.
Okay. Well, so you had your big, drink golf the other day.
Yeah.
Did you have some, Keenan?
No.
No? Come
No, not
on.
yet. Well, no, because I had to drink stuff that's like turned or like gonna turn. So all that stuff's good stuff. I will though. We were gonna have some this morning if you were here, but obviously, maybe I'll have some tomorrow when we do
I'm
another
there.
interview.
See? Look, wait. I'm right there next to Keenan. My bag's there.
Yeah.
You know, up above in the Ryder Cup. I'm there.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm
Whatever.
there.
How you
In
doing, buddy?
spirit.
Good to see you. So let's just talk, and then we'll end it, and we'll do a little Patreon. So Ryder Cup, getting a little bit closer. We're gonna have Hale Irwin this
Right.
this week. We're gonna interview him for a future podcast, probably next week's podcast. Who's 5-0? You know, he's 5-0 in Ryder Cups.
Really?
5-0. Never been named captain either. That's going to be an interesting question.
Yeah, there's a few people. It's like, why did they never not?
Ben Curtis, never been named captain.
Wow.
1-0.
Hale Irwin's a little bigger name, but you know.
Yeah, because he won a couple majors.
There's a few people like Marco Mira.
Yeah.
He played in multiple Ryder Cup. Same with Hale, right?
Yeah.
When
Do you wonder why?
Played
why not? I mean, the guy's been on five winning teams, 5-0, and he also won. He was, I guess, an assistant playing captain of the President's Cup, which he won too.
Right.
Is it all politics? Like, why? I guess why wasn't he ever named?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, what Davis Love has been a couple times, right? Yeah. Something. I mean, obviously Jack and that, but it's just weird. Again, you know, as successful as he was, how did maybe he didn't want it. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out.
But it's very interesting. Very interesting.
So, and we're also hopefully going to have Steve Stricker, right? I'll be kind of curious to see what his kind of take on it. Yeah. But as of right now, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson have qualified. If it ended today, this is what the team would be, the number 6. Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele. The next 6 is Jordan Spieth, Harris English, Patrick Reed, who pulled out. So who knows if he's going to be able to play or not. Daniel Berger, Patrick Cantley, and Tony Finau. Our boy Jason Kokrat, I believe, is 15th. Okay. So you got your top 6 automatically make it, correct? Right. So how do you pick the next 6?
Well, I think you're going to look at a couple scenarios. I think you're going to look at the points, see who's close. I think whoever is probably 6, 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9, or 7 and 8 are probably going to make it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Was that Spieth and who? Harris
English. But I don't think Harris English has ever played a Ryder Cup, has he?
No, but I think you need some fresh blood in there too, right? So, I mean, all those names you mentioned, I think they've all played before. Schauffele, maybe not.
Has Berger's played President's Cup, or has he played Ryder?
He's played President's Cup, I'm sure, but Schauffele, I don't think he's played Ryder Cup. But the top 6 have all played, right? Except for Schauffele.
Morikawa.
If you look at Dustin.
I don't think Colin Morikawa's played Ryder Cup.
No, he hasn't. So I guess, but he won a nice mix, and they're all young too. That's, I mean, younger than me, obviously.
Well, and I'm older than you, so yeah, younger than me. But do you add someone? Yeah, go ahead.
But no, I just think the top 6 always. But then I think 7 and 8 are going to be safe.
Well, you see who's on. You see who's number 9 is Patrick Reed. Do you not pick him because of maybe the history now with some of the?
But I mean, he has a pretty good record, in the Ryder Cup. So that plays a part of it. See, if you're Steve, you're going to look at past experience in the Ryder Cup, right? What you're doing right now as far as how your game is and how consistent you are. That's the big day. That you want guys that are really consistent. Maybe look at the makeup of your team personality-wise. I know, we talked about that with what Paul did, with our team, and Stricker was on that. And so, yeah, I think you got to look at that scenario and maybe, look at history at Whistling Straits, because we've been there, I think, 3 times. That's going to play a part of it. And then, yeah, I think personality and the makeup is going to be a big part of what he decides.
I mean, you can always just throw Reed and DeChambeau together and they can have a ball.
Yeah, just let them go at it.
Yeah.
Blame their drivers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. Well, it's interesting. The European team, as if it ended today, it'd be Rory, Tyrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood, and John Rahm. I guess my question is,
where's the
why?
other 8?
Well, no, well, here's the thing. Like,
they're on the team, you know.
well, no,
that,
like
right?
there's some guys I've never even heard of. Like, I mean, there's 2 or 3 guys I've never even heard of, and I follow golf. But I mean, you've got like Lee Westwood's up there. I think Casey's up there. What was interesting, if like Poulter, I think is 19th or 18th or 22nd. Do you bring it? Garcia's down there too, like 18, 19, 20, 22nd, whatever there. Do you throw in guys like that? Because Sergio is phenomenal in the Ryder Cup. And then Poulter is probably the greatest Ryder Cup player in the history of the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I think Poulter will be, if he's definitely in the mix. Let's put it that way. There's going to be a lot of discussions with him, and even Sergio. But it's not like they're bad golfers, right? If they make part of the team and if personality and all that, they fit in, they're playing decent at this time. It seems to bring out the best in Poulter. I don't know if he actually qualified for many of those teams. I think he was a pick half the time, or 3/4 of the time. I think he had so much success that he finished 15th and they picked him.
Yeah.
And no one questioned it,
So is it someone like maybe the U.S. picking Mickelson just because of his history and or is not really? Is it? I mean, he's not as fiery as Poulter is.
No. You could pick somebody that's way down that list, I guess. But I mean, where is Phil on the list?
He's like 22nd, I think, 18th.
It'd be hard to pick. I mean, he had one good week, right? Again, not that he's a bad golfer, but he could be a great co-captain or something like that. But yeah, it's a tough, very tough thing. No matter who Stricker picks or Padraig picks, somebody's going to have a complaint about it, or why didn't you pick this guy, or But at the end of the day, it's kind of like a draft pick in the NFL. Like, why didn't you draft that guy? He was a home run.
Right. Right.
You pass on Tom Brady. There's 31 teams that passed on him, right? And it's like, you just never know how things are going to unfold. And I'm sure Stricker's probably looking at the other team as well. And Padres probably looking at the other team. Like, who's he going to pick? Or who, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he's going to pick somebody. He's going to pick a Poulter. Who can I get that may match up well against him?
Do you think Harrington and Stricker are texting each other right now saying, oh, I'm thinking of picking this. No, I'm going to pick this guy, just to kind of play with each other?
They might. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still an exhibition, right? As big as it is, that's what it was for, right? An exhibition.
Don't tell that to the European team.
Oh, but it's a show, right? I mean, you're putting on a show, and it's made for TV, right? But I don't know. I think it'll be whatever. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
I mean, someone's going to be pissed off if they got left off, and somebody's going to be really elated that they made it.
Look at you right there.
Well, I qualified though.
You qualified. Now you were almost in 2012. You almost made the team, right? Was it 2000? No, 2004, or was it 12?
It would have been 12, but
no,
didn't quite have a good enough ending to my summer.
What number were you at the time of when it all said and done?
That's a good question. Probably about where Kokrak's sitting at
15th. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Because I had a 4-week span where I played really well. And that was kind of what got me into the hunt. But it wasn't like 08 where I played well basically from mid-April through the summer. So
yeah. So last question. Who picks the course? Because I'm kind of scratching my head. Whistling Straits is on the ocean. It's kind of a linksy style course that kind of favors a European team more than the American team, in my opinion.
Yes and no. I don't think so. I don't think it matters. Look at all the Americans that do well at the Open, right? So
okay, yeah, one that I personally know.
But Tiger, I mean,
yeah, but Tiger's not playing.
I know, but the link, it doesn't matter. Well,
you don't think so?
Course,
okay,
no, and that's not Links golf course. Let's just put it right there. That's not true Links golf course. So and in a way, it's an advantage to Americans because it plays more. Even though it might have a look of a Links golf, it plays more like an American golf course than it does a true Links golf course. So my argument would be it'd almost be the other way around. So
okay. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
We'll find out, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
Interesting. All right. We're going to go to Patreon. Thanks for listening. We'll be back hopefully in studio next week together. I don't know if I like this Zoom thing. Well,
you
whatever.
Look great in there though, Lou.
I know. I think you're trying to preface something. You look all warm and cozy. I can't even imagine if you're wearing clothes just other than a shirt and hat.
I do have gym shorts on underneath. So
that's cool.
Put the shirt back on.
That's cool. So don't forget to subscribe, share, rate, and review. Follow us on all the different podcast platforms, YouTube, and join us on Patreon. Our Patreon site, www.patreon.com/Clubs and Corps. And we'll be back next week, and we're going to do a little Patreon. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.